So why are you always tired, and 5 things that are ruining your sleep and what you can do about it. So first things first, your circadian rhythm is out of sync. Now the biggest reason why you're not getting high quality sleep is because you're probably not listening to your internal body clocks, right? Or simply you have your circadian rhythm all over the place. Now before we dive deeper into this topic, I want to clarify what circadian rhythm is in the first place. It's essentially a 24-hour cycle that is a part of your body's internal clock, and your body is able to detect it if it's night or if it's day. So it's very important. They are all over the place and you are sending your body mixed signals. You won't know when to produce essential hormones such as melatonin and cortisol. So the solution here is to understand what your chronotype is, and once you identify what your chronotype is, then you'll be able to craft a morning routine and evening routine based on that, right? If you miss and if you fail to do this essential step, then what will happen is that you will damage your DNA, right? Because chronotype is essentially based on your biology, based on your genetics, it's your genetic makeup, and if you don't listen to it, then it may result in you actually not performing well and damaging your DNA, right? And usually happens with entrepreneurs. They're in this grind mentality that all they do is to just wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning because it's cool on social media, but they're actually harming their bodies and they're fatigued, they don't sleep well, and they just cannot perform at the highest level possible, right? So the first thing first is to find out what your chronotype is based on your habits, based on your behavior, and then DNA makeup, and then you can follow the pattern and craft a morning and evening routine based on that. So to reset your circadian rhythm, you need to eliminate blue light and food intake around like 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. Later about this in the next slides, I'm going to dive deeper into that. And in the morning, to signal to your body that it's time to wake up and get going, you need to spike cortisol. Cortisol is not the enemy, and I'm going to explain why that is in the next slides. And the same with melatonin in the evening. You want to reset your circadian rhythm so your body produces melatonin naturally so you can fall asleep better. So number 2, your morning routine is not optimal. And what I mean by optimal, it doesn't mean that it has to be 2 hours or 3 hours long, right? If you're tired in the morning, you're not doing the right things to wake your body up, and you are not preparing for it the night prior. So your sleep doesn't start with the evening routine, it actually starts with the morning routine and the hours before, right? So instead of waking up like a zombie every single morning, grabbing your phone and check social media, emails, Slack messages, or even YouTube, you want to follow a different protocol to optimize yourself for success and energy. So it's okay if you wake up a little bit tired. Your body doesn't go from a sleep state to wake state in a span of seconds. It can take 10 to 15 minutes and absolutely okay. But what is not okay is if you still feel tired, if you still feel like your head is in the clouds, if you feel super tired even after those 10 to 15 minutes, then it could be the bigger cause and bigger issue, which could be brain fog or anything else, right? So you want to get that checked, or you can just check out the video I made on brain fog here on this YouTube channel, and you can see if those symptoms that you're experiencing, if that's something that you are going through right now, and if so, I'll show you essentially how to solve it quickly. So the solution to create an optimal morning routine, to train your body that now it's time to wake up and wake up in the most optimal way possible, is to spike cortisol. And you spike cortisol by either going for a quick jog or a walk outside and getting that sunlight in, or you do cold exposure. Could be ice bath or cold shower for a couple minutes. Second thing you can do is to get some sunlight, and this will help you with resetting your circadian rhythm, and it will signal to your body that now it's time to wake up and it's time to get going. And as a part of your morning routine, you want to do something for your mind and for your body. So the body part we pretty much covered. It's either walk, jog, anything really like yoga outside and getting that sunlight in. And when it comes to your mind, it can be as little as visualizing, meditating, journaling, anything that will prime you for a day of success, because it doesn't have to be a long routine. You don't have to spend hours creating all of these things. It can be just as little as 15 to 30 minutes every single morning just to prime your body and mind for success. Another thing, you want to isolate yourself in the morning. You don't want to be reactive to things, to people, to emails, to social media, to YouTube. You want to take more proactive approach, right? And the proactive approach is not really checking anything first hour after waking up, like no social media, no Slack messages, nothing. And preferably, if you can, I highly recommend you sustain this state of isolation until noon, and then right after you are done with your deep work, you can reply to other people. And lastly, do something that you enjoy or something that inspires you or spikes your creativity, because as an entrepreneur, you also have to not only solve problems and perform on the logical side, but you also want to improve the creativity side and work on that as well, because that will help you create better solutions for your clients, and creativity is essentially important for any entrepreneur. So if you can incorporate one thing that inspires you or one thing that you enjoy, it will get you into this very good state first thing in the morning, and the day essentially flows. Number 3, you're abusing coffee or in general caffeine. So another biggest factor contributing to not sleeping well is caffeine. Here is how caffeine works in your brain. So there is this energy molecule called adenosine. And once you introduce caffeine, it replaces adenosine in the receptors, tricking your brain that it has energy. This is a quick spike that lasts only for 2 or 4 hours, and then, as you know, probably you have this energy crash. All of a sudden, if you drink your coffee or energy drink or whatever, then all of a sudden you feel super tired and sluggish and slow. So if you drink coffee in the evening and lots of it during the day, it will negatively impact your sleep quality. And there are some individuals out there that I know personally, and other entrepreneurs as well, that claim that I drink coffee in the evening and I can fall asleep just fine. Well, it may be true that you can, because you become so tolerant towards coffee and its effects that it doesn't really impact you, like give you this crazy energy boost. But what happens, regardless of you're not an exception, is that it will impact your REM sleep. And REM sleep is really important for your cognitive performance, for memory, for energy, and for overall functioning, especially for you if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, you may fall asleep, but your sleep quality will decrease. And then if you track your sleep with an Oura ring or a hoop band, you will be able to see in the morning that your HRV, which is heart rate variability, drops. And your overall readiness will drop, and cognitive performance will not be as sharp as you need it to be. REM sleep helps you get rid of the waste that is accumulated in your brain. And if you don't have enough REM sleep, if you don't sleep enough, then the waste just stays there and your brain just won't function properly. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. So the solution for this could be just learning the basic rules of caffeine, right? So rule number 1 is to have a cup of coffee, maximum 2 cups of coffee per day. Number 2, avoid drinking coffee after 2 or 3 p.m. And rule number 3 is to stop drinking coffee 6 to 10 hours before your bedtime. If you follow these 3 rules, I can guarantee you're gonna sleep better, and you can still consume your coffee, but in a better and smarter way. Number 4, your nutrition is all over the place. So meal timing impacts your sleep quality. And if you eat big meal close to your bedtime, you won't sleep as well. And you will wake up super tired, and you will have sleep disturbances during the night. Also, if you eat the wrong kinds of food, it will also impact the sleep quality and how you feel the next day. And here is why meal timing is very important. So eating requires energy, right? So energy is needed when you're sleeping because it helps with tissue repair, storing of your memories, and also overall function of your brain, of your body. So the energy can go 2 ways. It can go to digestion or to repairing process. But if you eat a big meal before sleep, it firstly goes to digestion. So that way, there is no time and space for your body to repair and for your brain to repair as well. So that's something you need to keep in mind. And that's why having a large meal close to your bedtime will also impact your HRV. And in the morning, you'll be able to see that it drastically dropped. Another factor is alcohol, right? This is a very common topic in entrepreneur space. And a lot of entrepreneurs ask me, like, should I drink alcohol? How should I drink alcohol? When? So I'm going to cover this in this slide, and there are a couple of options you can go about it. But first, let's talk about how alcohol works and its side effects. After a few hours of sleep, alcohol can cause you to wake up and have a difficult time going back to sleep. Not only that, but alcohol also causes dehydration. That impacts your sleep quality, and your wake up times will increase during the night, which leaves no time and space for the deep sleep and REM sleep. And when it comes to REM sleep, as I've discussed before, alcohol reduces the amount of time in the REM sleep, which is crucial for healing, retaining memory, feeling rested, and also cognitive functions. So here's the solution for meal timing as well as alcohol consumption if you must. So number 1, eat your last meal 2 or 3 hours before your bedtime. Make sure that meal has a lot of proteins, fats, and carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are actually really good, especially in the evening, because they release serotonin, and serotonin helps you relax, and relaxation helps you fall asleep. So don't sleep on carbs, don't leave carbs out of your diet. Make sure that you have nutritious meal before bed. Number 2, don't go to bed hungry. You can have a snack that is small. The best bet is a snack with carbs like yogurt and fresh fruit, or tea with honey. And it's because if you don't eat enough carbs, your liver is not going to function properly, and it's going to stress out, which will cause disturbances during the night, right? So this is something you also want to keep in mind. So if you're very hungry, you can still have a small snack. And number 3, if you insist on drinking alcohol, then check your chronotype. You'll be able to see based on that when is the best time for you to consume alcohol. But the rule of thumb is around like minimum 3 hours before your bedtime, you should have your last drink. If you can have your drink sooner, the better, right? But minimum 3 hours before bedtime. And number 5, you don't have any proper wind down routine. If you don't have a proper evening routine, you're exposed to a lot of blue light in the evening, and you go to sleep at different times, and it's going to impact your quality of sleep negatively. Just like with the morning routine, it doesn't have to be 2 or 3 hours long. It's about efficiency, about maximizing small things that will give you the biggest results and biggest impact. So you need to focus on these 4 things: light, environment, relaxation, and work. The solution to have an optimized night unwind routine is to dim the lights in your apartment, house, or room, wear blue light blockers, no screens or blue light 30 minutes up to 60 minutes before bedtime. And if you're reading on an iPad or Kindle or anything like that, you can lower the brightness, or you can download an application or software that adjusts the display color temperature automatically, so it's not such a strain to your eyes and you're not getting blue light into your eyes as well. When it comes to work, you want to stop working at least 2 or 3 hours before bedtime, so your mind is not racing, so your brain can relax as well as your body, and so you are not in the state of solving problems and working until the last minute, because that will impact your sleep negatively. Your quality of sleep will lower, and in the morning you will feel very, very fatigued and tired. And then you want to make sure that your bedroom is optimized in the sense of that it's safe, it's cool, so the temperature is not that high, it's around 20 Celsius when you sleep, and also dark and safe. By safe, I mean you don't want to have a lot of books and shelves around, you don't want to have crazy pictures or TV or electronics of any kind, because that your brain subconsciously can sense all of these things. Without you even knowing, your brain feels like there are some threats, like a lamp maybe falling on you while you sleep, or a bookshelf or a book or anything. These little things can actually impact your sleep quality unconsciously, right? So make sure that your room is very safe and it's just meant for you to sleep in. To relax, you can journal, read a book, spend time with your loved ones, and if you want to watch a TV show to relax or a movie, then make sure that you follow the light rules that I've mentioned above. So to recap this video, to stop feeling tired in the morning and during the day so you can increase your output, focus, and have energy, sync your circadian rhythm and find out what your chronotype is. Number 2, create an optimal morning routine. Number 3, follow the basic rules of caffeine. Number 4, improve your nutrition and timing, as well as understand when you should consume alcohol if you're consuming. And number 5, optimize your night routine and wind down routine as well. So that's everything from me for this video. If you liked it, make sure that you hit thumbs up, subscribe, and also you can comment which of these 5 tips were your favorite and which you're going to use tomorrow or next week or whenever. So I'm gonna read through those and look forward to see what you think. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.